The Netflix series Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, has taken the internet by storm. The series is currently trending in different parts of the world on the platform as people are interested in looking at the story of one of the most notorious serial killers of all time. During its adaptation, Netflix has managed to get some facts right. They've also gotten some wrong as well. In today's video, we'll be talking about the top 10 things Netflix's Jeffrey Dahmer story got factually right and wrong. Number 10. Right. Jeffrey's arrest. Jeffrey Dahmer was caught on July 22nd, 1991, when a would-be victim managed to escape his gruesome death at the hands of Dahmer. While locked in Dahmer's apartment, Tracy Edwards was looking for an opportunity to escape. When he found one, he hit Dahmer and stormed out of his house. He then reported the entire scene to the police, and Dahmer was arrested at his apartment. Netflix got this scene right, with some minor nooks and crannies here and there. Number 9. Wrong. Ronald Flowers' survival. In the series, Dahmer met Ronald Flowers when the latter's car broke down in the middle of the road. Dahmer offered to take him to his grandmother's house, where he slipped him a sleeping drug into Flowers' drink. Before Dahmer could carry on with his gruesome plan, his grandmother entered the scene and stayed by Flowers' side to ensure that he was well. She, along with Dahmer, took him to the hospital where Flowers was treated. But in real life, the involvement of Dahmer's grandmother is still unknown. Number 8. Right. Dahmer's yellow contact lenses. Jeffrey Dahmer had a strange habit of wearing yellow contact lenses. He wore them so that he can feel connected to his favorite movie characters, such as the Gemini Killer from The Exorcist 3 and the Emperor from Star Wars. He would also make his victims watch Exorcist 3, as it made him feel more powerful and predatory. Number 7. Wrong. Dahmer murdered Dean Vaughn. In episode 7, we are introduced to Dean Vaughn, who arrived at Dahmer's building as a tenant. Dahmer was seen talking to Vaughn a few days before he was found dead in his apartment. The series shows Dahmer killing him, but in real life, there wasn't any evidence linking Dahmer to Vaughn's death. Number 6. Right. Dahmer's yearbook pictures. Jeffrey Dahmer was a troubled kid in high school, as told by his high school classmates. One weird thing he did was that he sneaked into the yearbook picture of his high school's honor society. He quietly sneaked into the yearbook photo and was later on blacked out from the yearbook. He'd also do the same thing with other clubs by photobombing their yearbook photos. This scene was also accurately represented in the Netflix adaptation. Number 5. Wrong. Glenda Cleveland's residence. In the series, Glenda Cleveland is shown being a resident of the Oxford apartment where Jeffrey Dahmer lived, but in real life, Glenda lived at the apartments next door to Oxford. Cleveland is shown to be an anchor character who often interacts with Cleveland. She was also the one who saw Dean Vaughn talking to Dahmer before his death. Number 4. Right. Impact statements at the trial. Director Joe Berlinger beautifully adapted the impact statements of the victims' relatives in the series. The scene where Rita Isabel, sister of Errol Lindsay, is seen expressing her hatred for Jeffrey was depicted perfectly, as close to real life. Dahmer's own statements in the series were also close to the hearing at the actual trial. Number 3. Right. Cops escorted a victim back to Dahmer's apartment. Conorak Sinfasum, a minor captured by Dahmer, managed to escape his apartment to save his life while Dahmer was out. 2 women saw this young-looking boy and called the cops to get him some help. But before the cops could leave the apartment, Dahmer arrived and convinced the cops that Sinfasum was his boyfriend. Cleveland and the other woman protested about it, but it was of no use as Sinfasum was again in Dahmer's apartment. He was later on brutally killed within minutes of the cops leaving. Number 2. Wrong. Dahmer always had his glasses on. During the entire series, Jeffrey Dahmer, played by Evan Peters, is seen wearing his yellow glasses everywhere he goes. In real life, Dahmer wore these glasses a lot, but he wasn't seen wearing one during his trial. According to Dahmer, he took them off because he was unable to face his crimes and couldn't look inside the victim's family in the eyes. Number 1. Right. Baptized on John Wayne Gacy's execution. John Wayne Gacy was another serial killer who brutally murdered 33 young men in Illinois in the 70s until he was arrested in 1978. After serving 14 years on death row, he was executed on May 10, 1994. On the same day, Jeffrey Dahmer was baptized by Minister Roy Ratcliffe in Wisconsin. This scene was highlighted in the last episode of the series as well. That's all for today. Have you watched Netflix's Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story yet? Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Crime 101. We'll see you next time with another spine-chilling story. And until then, have a nice day.